Hello, dumplings. So, something you might have been able to tell about me from my content that isn't centered around video games and stuff is that I like stories. I love reading, I love writing, I love storytelling, I love oral histories, just all of it. So, I have been reading and writing fan fiction for over 17 years. It's been a little while. And with Wattpad's policy update, a lot of people are moving to AO3. Looking at my analytics, like all my subscribers are older, so this might be missing the mark. But just in case, I thought I might give some helpful tips if there's someone out there moving from Wattpad to AO3. So firstly, AO3, or Archive of Our Own, is an archive. It is meant to preserve fan works. It is also completely anti-censorship, so you will find anything and everything on there. So the first feature you might want to know about is this. These are your filters. You can include or exclude anything. There is no algorithm. It is up to you to moderate your content. See, as for the tags, there is anything and everything. If you see a tag and you don't know what the meaning is, give it a quick Google before you click on the fic. Otherwise, you will be like me, finding out that water sports is not talking about water polo or Olympic swimming. And again, all these things, anything you can imagine, any horrible, awful thing, is not against AO3's terms of service. So reporting fics for things that you find repulsive will not get the fic taken down because they're allowed to be there. But that doesn't mean that you have to interact with them. Again, anything and everything is on AO3, but you don't have to see any of it. Some tags you might want to exclude if you are a new transplant to the archive are this one here. Dead dove, do not eat. So what it initially means is what's in the tags is in the story, but contextually it can also be implied to mean that it is an incredibly visceral representation of those tags. Like if you have a fic that is tagged with some horror tags, let's say murder is in there, murder by itself will be in the fic, but it may not be excessively graphic. But if you see murder combined with dead dove do not eat, a lot of times those two are paired together to mean that it's going to be brutal or visceral. And then a lot of what you would want to exclude is subjective. It is what don't you want to see. That's completely individual. You type it in the bar here, a bunch of suggested tags pop up. Just pick what you want to exclude. Let's see. These symbols right here, they are kind of general guidelines for the type of story it is. Here are the archive warnings. These are required to be represented accurately. These are the big ones that if it's in your fic, you need to disclose it. Graphic depictions of violence, major character deaths, non-con, underage. Oh, and creator chose not to use archive warnings is not the same as no warnings apply. This means that any of the content warnings that appear could be in the story, but chose not to use warnings is just a way to not spoil plot elements while still giving a warning. So there is a big difference in no content warnings and creator chose not to disclose warnings. Like, really, really just averse to those topics, you can filter them out. You can filter everything out. It might be a little weird to navigate at first if you're used to an algorithm or something like that. But, like, I came to AO3 many, many years ago from fanfic.net. And I've just always liked it better. So I think if you give it some time and kind of learn how the tagging system works, it's not that hard, and you can really curate your experience to be everything you've ever wanted it to be. There are no top lists. You don't vote for every chapter. It's just, here's a story. Something I've seen a lot of people asking around is how to find original works on Archive of Our Own. And I will say, if you're on AO3 looking for some spicy original works, you're probably not going to find as many. Like, you can go here into this search bar. There is a tag for original works, but that's not really what the archive is for. It's an archive of fan works. So there definitely ain't gonna be like as many original works. If you're looking for original stories, maybe try Literotica or something like that. It's just not really what AO3 is for. AO3 is a fanfiction website. I don't want to deter anybody because, like, there are so many good, like, G and T rated stories. There are stories with zero explicit content. There are stories for everyone. Just, there are stories for everyone. So if you're used to a more curated experience, it might be really scary and it might be overwhelming, and you might look at something and go, oh my god, that's literally the most horrible thing I've ever seen. It'll be okay. You can block creators, you can block keywords, you can make sure that you don't see any of that stuff. And sometimes that means like keeping them at a distance with like a 50-foot pole, or like locking them in a lead line box. That's your block and exclude feature. Just use those as liberally as you want. It is your experience to curate, and you can make it the best experience you want it to be. So, I don't know. Most of my audience is like older adults, so I don't really know how many of you this is going to jive with. But if anyone sees this who is switching from Wattpad to Archive of Our Own, I hope this helps. All right, bye bye.